There we go. Welcome, beautiful souls, to day one. Beautiful speaker number 2. We have beautiful Dr. Pamela here to join us today for this beautiful Claim Your Light Yuletide Summit. I'm honored and excited to be here. Again, my name is Soraya, Lady Anika, and we have beautiful Lady Dresman hosting with me, sharing this beautiful space with all these amazing speakers and beautiful, beautiful attendees. I'm so excited to be here. Today, we will be giving away a free gift, and we will be giving away a free gift for every day of the summit. So somebody here is going to win something awesome. We don't know what it is yet. It's going to come through in the moment. I'm sure of it. But just so everybody knows, it's super beautiful to see everybody here today. Let us know if you have any questions here or in the group. Let's keep the pulse alive. Also, all of the speakers will have their posts in the Facebook group because it's the easiest way to do that. And you can reach out to them at any time. We are all here to support all of you in your individual journeys forward, because this is what it's all about. It's change, and it's so exciting. And as for that, do we have anything else to say, beautiful Lady Dressman, before we have beautiful Dr. Pamela joining us?
No. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Pamela. Please take it away.
Thank you, everyone. I'm so excited to see a balance in the feminine and masculine energy and feel it today, which I'm gonna have to change some of my stuff, because I kind of was like, this is for women, and I'm like, no, what a beautiful surprise. So I'm super excited to share this with all of you today. And today I want to talk to you about what horse medicine teaches us about this sacred Yuletide season. And I'm going to start out by asking you, when was the last time you truly paused? And I don't mean just stop moving for a moment and sit down and rest, or maybe you stopped scrolling in your phone for a minute, but I want to know, when did you truly pause? Drop into your body, let yourself be without producing, performing, or pushing. Now, I'm assuming we all did that at the beginning of the last session, but prior to this summit, when was the last time you truly took a pause in your life? Just be with that for a second. Because if you're a lot like most of the women that I work with, you might say, I don't remember. Right? Especially during this season. We just got done with Thanksgiving. We're getting ready for the Christmas holiday, or whatever you practice, or whatever that is for you. It's still a busy time of year, right? We can't deny that. And we've been conditioned, like our culture, and I feel it as a woman, and I saw it with my grandma, my mother growing up. You're not allowed to sit down. I have an aunt who didn't start reading until her mother passed away, because her mother taught her that she couldn't sit down and read during the day, that she had to be productive, right? So we've been conditioned that this pausing is laziness, that it's, stillness isn't accomplishing anything, that if we're not doing something, right, that do, we're not getting anything done. But what if I told you that the most profound transformation comes from doing nothing? How beautiful is that? We don't have to do anything for major transformations in our life, right? And, something I learned at a horse retreat, probably, 20 years ago now, was this concept of Wu Wei. I don't know if you all have heard of Wu Wei, but it's a central concept of the Chinese Taoists. And it's this philosophy that really translates to non-action, right? Or actionless activity, if you will. And it's really about this act of perfect harmony and being in the natural flow, rather than forcing things. And it reminds me a lot of the seasons, right? We have no control over the seasons, right? And it reminds me a lot of the horses, and they grow their winter coats to prepare themselves for winter, and then in the spring they shed it, and it's just that natural flow of being, right? But we as humans don't always do that. And I've been working with horses in several capacities now for over 35 years, and these magnificent creatures have taught me more about the art of doing nothing than any book, any therapy session, any spiritual development course that I've taken. And in this space of doing nothing, that is where the real deep healing, presence, our authentic power really starts to emerge and come through. And horses, they just innately know this. Okay. And I just want to be clear that when I'm speaking of horses, I don't do equine assisted therapy. A lot of people think that stuff. I'm thinking more like horse in a metaphor. What can their energy and wisdom, teach us? And they just innately know this present stuff. They just do. They embody it. And it's something that I feel that we've forgotten about a lot in this day and age. And I know we're all here and we're all spiritual beings and probably more in alignment than the average person, but we're still human, right? And we still get caught up in the everyday do, and we forget to do this art of doing nothing. So today I want to share with you what sacred horse medicine really teaches us about this season of winter, how it can help us with our nervous system healing, and really the alchemy of releasing of what no longer serves us. And at the end, I'm going to guide you through a little ritual, one that the horses have shown me. And it's really about composting 2025, if you will, and creating this fertile ground for 2026. So how does that sound, everybody? Are you going to stick around to the end and we can do this amazing ritual with horse medicine? Awesome. So what horses know that we humans have forgotten, right? I've already touched on it, is this innate ability to be embodied in presence. But for those of you who don't know, horses are prey animals, right? Which makes them very different from dogs and cats, who are predators and catch mice and rabbits and sleep in our beds with us. Horses are prey animals. So they have this survival instinct that really depends on a very sophisticated nervous system, and they can sense danger, they can activate when needed, and then this is the key: they just naturally come back to rest and digest, right? For those of us who are familiar with the nervous system. So in the wild, a horse will flee a predator. Hopefully they get away, right? They run until they're safe, and they stop and they shake everything out. They release this trauma from their body. They graze, they go back to eating, and they don't sit there and worry about what's going to happen next. They're in the present moment, right? They don't ruminate on, is that lion coming back? They're always aware of their surroundings, but it's in that present moment, right? And they don't tell themselves stories in their head. Oh, I should have ran faster. Or I wasn't good enough. They don't do that. They don't beat themselves up for being scared or being triggered, right? They just discharge that energy and they move on. So, but here's the key. So what happens when we domesticate these horses, right? And I really feel like this is such a great parallel of what happens to us in this modern culture, right? When we become domesticated and lose touch with that, innate nature, right? So we interrupt this natural response that horses have when we ask them to do things. We ask them to ride. We take them to shows. We sometimes people will punish them for spooking or having a reaction or being triggered in their nervous system, and they don't give them that opportunity to release, right? They just reel them back in, put them back to work. And in the wild, and a lot of people, even horse people, don't understand this. In the wild, a horse has to run a complete mile in a straight line to release all of this. Most of these horses aren't even kept in a pen, right, where they can have a mile to run. They're in a stall or a little, paddock or whatever, and they're really taken out of their natural environment. And I just feel like it's such a parallel for us of how we interrupt our natural states of being, right? We move from one intense situation to another, and we don't take the time to recalibrate our nervous systems, to reset. We're always overriding. We're always like that, that gas pedal's like to the floor. Maybe we let up on it a little bit, but do we always stop and put the car in park and just rest and shake it off? Like, I don't know, you tell me. I don't do it all the time. Do you guys? So what happens, right? Well, the horse develops anxiety, behavioral issues, physical tension, digestive problems. They lose that little sparkle in their eye. I'm wondering, can anybody relate? Do you know any humans that have experienced any of this? I see Soraya raising her hand. I see Jessica. Yeah, right? We can relate. So you see the power in this metaphor with the horse medicine, right? It's this pattern that we have been conditioned to live in. And so I like to think of it as most of us are living like domesticated horses, and we've never been allowed to truly pause. So, I don't know about you guys, but I know 2025 has been a lot. Yes? Does everybody agree? Like, it's a lot. And maybe you've experienced some grief, some loss, disappointment, betrayal, whatever that is. It's been a crazy year. And I want to know, like, did you take the time to fully process it? Because really, like, the year's not even over yet, is it? Like, something else could still happen, right? And what we do is we just keep showing up. We go to work. We take the kids to school. We push through. We suck it up. Tomorrow's another day. Got to stay strong, independent women. And now we're wondering, like, why am I so tired all the time, right? Why did I get so disconnected to myself? When did that happen? Or we just numb out and go back to scrolling and binge watching and doing the things, right? But I want you guys to know this is not a character flaw, right? This is what happens when we override that innate wisdom of our nervous system. And winter, going into this Yuletide season, this is the time for the sacred pause. It's a time to rediscover. It's a time to reconnect, right? It's the time to practice the art of doing nothing, right? Yuletide is the transition, right? The earth herself is showing us the way. And in winter, earth doesn't produce, right? It doesn't do anything. Everything just kind of goes dormant. She's not called on to make any great performance during the winter. Just hold the space for the snow and the cold, right? Unless you are blessed living someplace further south than me. There's no grass coming up through the frozen ground to prove her worth, right? She pauses. She goes dark. She composts all those leaves that came off, the decay, the death of autumn. And there's something going on underneath, right? She's preparing for spring. We just can't see it. And we don't have to see it. We don't have to do anything. We just need to let that natural flow happen. And see, when we come back to the horse medicine, these wise sentient beings, they embody this so naturally, because when they're given the choice, the horses will just stand still in the winter sun. You're just absorbing that little bit of warmth. They move slower. They conserve their energy. They stay close to their herd for co-regulation, right? They rest more. They eat more. And they just be more. They don't apologize for it, right? They don't beat themselves up for being lazy. They trust the rhythm of the seasons. So I want to ask you, what would happen if you gave yourself permission to do the same? What would happen if we just did nothing and went with the flow? the heck with Christmas, Christmas shopping. We don't need to cook a big meal. What would happen? Our families might freak out, but what would happen to our souls, right? And our inner beings if we allowed that? Because when we allow ourselves to truly pause, not just physical rest, although that is very important, but really drop into that sacred stillness, I tell you, 3 things happen that I can think of at the top of my head. And I consider these 3 gifts of this sacred winter pause. 1, our nervous system can finally discharge, right? Just like that horse shaking off the predator chase, your body's been holding on to all this stress from 2025, trauma, all the intense, crazy crap, right? So this sacred pause gives your nervous system permission to finally process it and release it. And here's what might happen. You might have a little breakdown. Like, a lot of people don't want to pause because they don't want to find out what happens. You might cry, right? You might shake. You might feel all these waves of emotion because you're finally allowing yourself to feel. This is composting. You're just composting, right? This is the alchemy. And this is you experiencing the transformation. And the second gift I find in the sacred winter pause is that we remember who we are beneath all the busyness, the hustle, the bustle, the being on call all the time, right? When we're always producing and working and doing, we lose touch with our essence. And here's the thing is, we know all this, right? At the heart of hearts, we know this, but do we take the time to really be aware of what we're doing and what we're not doing, right? So that sacred pause gives us a chance to come back to ourselves, right? Not the self that we think we should be and all those roles and all those hats we play, parents, taking care of, elderly parents, whatever that is. But the self that we actually are, our true self, right? That self that is connected with the higher self. And horses, they don't have these identity crises. They just don't. They know who they are. They've never been told not to be who they are, really, right? They live in their bodies. They trust their natural instincts, and they really embody their truth. The sacred pause in winter really allows us to reconnect in that same innate wisdom. And the third gift that I feel that we create space for is what is next to emerge after this pause, right? You can't really plant seeds in the frozen ground, right? You have to let the earth rest. We have to let that old growth decompose, like let the soil become fertile again. And the same goes for us, right? We can't force our 2026 visions into existence if we're still carrying all that unprocessed stuff from 2025, if we didn't let it just compost, right? So you can see that this is just really a preparation, right? It's this composting that turns all our crap from 2025 into the new visions, into, old beliefs that get turned into authentic power. Fear gets turned into courage. And, grief gets turned into strength. And you know what? I'm going to be really honest. Like, for years, I didn't even know what this was. And I grew up on a farm. I thought I was so connected to nature. But, we had to go out and feed cattle 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. There was always work to be done. And it just was a way of life. I didn't know any better. Right? That's how I was raised. And I went into adulthood the same way. I went into the horse industry, and the horses have to be fed. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas or New Year's Day, things have to be done. But, I built a business around horses for not just my adult life. I started professionally in the horse world at 15. And I got all these bodywork certifications. I became an energy healer. I did all this stuff. I've coached other horse professionals. And you know what? I became really burnt out. Thought I was being on purpose, doing all the stuff, but I was so burnt out. And I didn't realize it till I was just like, I can't get up. I can't move. The universe is like, we're forcing you to pause. Right. So I had to learn to get over that do more, do better mentality, because it was draining me. Because what was happening is I was living like all those domesticated horses that I was working with, right? Performing on demand and never giving myself time to recalibrate. And then something shifted. I started to finally listen to my own horse medicine. I started to practice what I've been preaching, right? And this is what I found out. I couldn't create the new thing that I was being called to step into from a depleted nervous system. I couldn't do it. Like, the vision was there for months. I knew what the universe was wanting me to step into, but I couldn't do it. So I just had to pause. I didn't really have a choice. I felt like I was at rock bottom, so I really had no place to go but up, right? I didn't have the energy to keep doing what I was doing. And I paused, and not because I had it all figured out, right? Because I didn't, but because I didn't really have a choice anymore, because I was out of gas. So, in this pause, I find people don't like to do it because it's uncomfortable, right? That unknown is super uncomfortable, right? We go have those old questions. What am I even doing with my life? Am I living my purpose? Like, all that stuff comes up when we stop and pause, right? Because then we can hear things. But in that pause, I really got super, super clear. And I started to reconnect with my own desires instead of just responding to everybody else's needs, because I spent 7 years helping take care of my terminally ill father. And, I don't believe I ever truly processed it, because, in our family, we don't talk about that stuff, right? And if we don't talk about it, then it doesn't exist. So there's nothing to process. And if it doesn't matter, right? It's not an issue. We just don't talk about it. But I realized that the pause wasn't a problem, right? It was the sacred medicine that I was going to need, that I had been ignoring, because nobody else was acknowledging it. And that's the issue. A lot of times people around us don't acknowledge what we need. So we have to acknowledge ourselves. So what does that mean for all of you listening who are here present or listening to the replay? Well, I want to believe we're all in an active transition right now. We can feel it, right? There is a shift in the collective. It's not just about, we're going through the season and the shortest day of the year is coming up. There's something bigger going on collectively. Would you all agree? Yeah. And so we have to be active in this transition, because things need to shift on the planet right now. They just do, because it's not pretty. And maybe you're feeling exhausted. Maybe you're feeling depleted. Can anybody relate to that? I know I've just been exhausted this year. Yeah, because just the energies on the planet is sucking the life out of all of us sensitives and empaths, right? But your exhaustion and these feelings, it's your mind, body, and soul calling you. It's communication, right? And it's telling you need to slow down, and it's okay. That's your nervous system's wisdom guiding you home to our true selves. So this year might be hard. It's not over. We might be carrying all this crap, right? Tons of heaviness from this year. And be honest, people are struggling. And I just want to encourage everybody, before we launch into 2026 with new goals, the whole New Year's resolution thing, more pressure to perform. Let's allow ourselves to compost first for a little bit, even if it's just for a little time here today. But I'd like to encourage you to continue to do it outside of this summit. What if you gave yourself permission to just feel what you haven't let yourself feel. I know I had to go through that. Release stuff that we're hanging on to. And here's the thing is, like, we always think it's like this deep spiritual, emotional release. What if you just need to finally get rid of that ugly Christmas sweater that's been sitting in your closet for 20 years? Like that, I don't know, that gift you got from that ex, 20 years ago, like, that you probably just need to get rid of. Sometimes it's as simple as that, just getting rid of some things that we've been hanging on to for too long, right? And allowing ourselves to just rest in the dark. I know for me, like, the short days this time of year are hard, but I let myself sleep in a little. I allow myself to rest and meditate and cuddle with the cats and not beat myself up for having shorter work days. And I just trust that this stillness is not wasted time. And maybe I tell myself I can do more now in the stillness because it's dark and it's cold, and just allowing myself to be in that space, right? And this is the sacred horse medicine, right? Just being in the presence. This is the winter wisdom. This is the sacred pause, really. So, yeah, I have your permission. I'd like to guide you guys through a little ritual for releasing. How does that sound? Are we all on board? Okay, cool. It's inspired from the horses. Surprise, surprise. And really, it's about the horse's ability to discharge, right? To shake off what's not theirs and to really return to their center and get grounded. So I don't know if you guys have a pen and paper, if you might want to write stuff down, but I just want you to give yourself permission to feel whatever comes up. It's not right or wrong or good or bad. Just allow it to flow, right? Trust your body's wisdom. Okay, if you're comfortable closing your eyes, let's close your eyes. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, just soften your gaze, and let's take a deep breath. Place one or two hands on your heart. Take another deep breath. And just notice your breath, and don't worry about changing it. Just noticing it, being in tune with it. And I want you to imagine that you're standing in a winter field with a horse. I always say, even if you don't have horses, what little girl didn't want a pony or loved unicorns, right? So maybe you're in the field with a unicorn, or Pegasus. It could be whatever you want. But imagine you're standing in the field and there's no expectations from this horse. You don't have to ride it or touch it. You're just standing out there in the field. You feel the ground beneath you. It's solid. The air is crisp and cold. And the sky is that pale winter blue because it's probably a little bit overcast out. And this horse next to you is super calm, super grounded, just fully present in their body and just standing there soaking up a little bit of sun. I want you to feel the feet on the ground, your feet on the ground, next to the horse's feet. Horses are so good at grounding because they have 4 feet connected to the earth instead of 2. So this horse is really helping you get super grounded. Maybe if you're comfortable, maybe you want to sit down on the earth so that you can feel your seat bones touching the earth, feeling the earth hold you, support you. And just like this horse, you don't have to do anything right now. You can just simply be. And we're going to do a little bit of breathing, but we're going to exhale like a horse with our lips. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, you've seen horses in the movies where they're like, when they let it out. Okay, so we're going to exhale like a horse today with our lips. Let's go ahead and inhale for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4 if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want you to exhale like a horse through your lips. And I think we have this like natural reaction to just shake when we're doing it, right? Like a horse would just let it all out. Let's do it again. In for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it all out with your lips. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through our lips. Awesome. And as you do that exhale, I hope you could feel yourself just dropping into your body, into this moment, into this sacred pause, right? And now that we're dropped into our body, I want you to bring to mind something from 2025 that you're ready to release. Again, this isn't a right or wrong or good or bad. It's the first thing that comes to mind. It might just be a word. It could be an image. It could be a feeling somewhere in your body, maybe lodged in your gut. It might be a person. It might be a situation. It might be a false belief about yourself, but whatever that is that just pops to mind, I want you to just trust it, right? Your body knows. We don't need to overthink it. And I want you to ask yourself, what have I been carrying that's no longer mine to hold? I just want you to be with that for a minute. What have I been carrying that's no longer mine to hold? I want you to go back to that horse that's still beside you. And I want you to watch as they take a deep breath and observe how they exhale through their lips. And they shake, and they start by shaking their nose and then their head. And they move through their neck and their body and then their legs. And then the energy that's stuck is released. They've discharged what they don't need anymore. And then they're back to being calm and peaceful. So I want us to do the same. If you're comfortable, we're going to physically do this shake off, whatever it was that came forward for you. If you want to stand up and do it, great. If you want to sit, it's fine. But just start by just maybe shaking your hands, shaking, rolling your shoulders, move your head side to side, let your body release. Sometimes flailing your arms helps. Just get it all shaken off. The legs, the stomp. Sometimes a horse will stomp a little. Just let it go. And I want you to say in your mind, or if you need to say it out loud, say it out loud. I release whatever the thing was that came up for you. It is no longer mine to carry. I return it to the earth to be composted into something new. Now let's take a deep breath in and let's fully do that horse exhale through the lips. And feel that space, that energy that you just released and how it opens that space inside of us. I feel it a lot in my heart chakra, my sacral chakra. It's just so much more expansive. Okay, let's just take a minute. Shake it off, release, breathe until you feel that space in your body open and expand. Hmm. Some people are still moving, and that's okay. We got 11 and a half months of stuff to shake off here. It doesn't happen in 30 seconds all the time, although it can. Right now that you've released what no longer serves you, right? We have this new space, a space for something new, something that's true to our higher selves, something super aligned. How does that feel? Can I get a thumbs up, thumbs down? How does everybody feel? Awesome. Hmm. So now I want you to imagine that it's early spring and you're standing in that same field, right? With that same horse or unicorn, Pegasus, whatever that was for you, right? Now the ground is soft, right? You see little shoots of green grass coming up. I love spring. Spring, like, oh, I love it. Right? Everything's fresh and new again. And the green stands out from the, the ground that was dormant and all the vegetation that was dormant, right? And you feel that air starting to warm up. And I want you to ask yourself, what wants to grow in this new fertile ground after my sacred pause? Now, I want you to remember this isn't about goals or to-do lists. This is about your essence, about how do you want to feel, right? Who do you want to become? Who are you becoming? Because as spiritual beings, we're always growing and transforming and transitioning. We always are. That's the seasons. Every year we have 4 seasons. So who are you becoming for 2026? And just listen to your body again, that innate wisdom. It might be a word. It might be, something simple as I just want to feel joy. I want to feel freedom. I want more clarity, right? It might be a quality. You might want to feel more grounded, more creative, more courageous. Maybe an image comes to you. Maybe it's just some inner knowing that you might have to be with. But just listen for it and be with it for a second. Whatever is coming forward for you, be open to it, receive it, welcome it, say yes to it. Now I want to encourage you to place your hands on your heart. Say it out loud or silently. Whatever has come forward for you, I want you to say, I am creating space for this word, this quality, this vision. I trust the sacred pause of winter. I trust this sacred Yuletide season and the process. I trust my body's wisdom. I am composting 2025 into fertile ground for 2026. Take one more deep breath with me. Exhale through the lips. Drawing in on that vision, that word, that new possibility. One more inhale, releasing any remaining tension or resistance that might still be lingering. And now I want you guys to stand up and take a deep bow to that horse beside you. I want you to take a deep bow to the wisdom of your body and thank yourself for showing up, not just in this ritual, but in life, in every day, and showing up for the Yuletide season and not just going through the motions. And I take a deep bow to all of you. Thank you for sharing this space with me. When you're ready, it's just gently come back. So I just want to acknowledge all of you, like, you know, it seems so simple, but it's not. And I want to acknowledge you for you did it. You stood up, you shook it off. You did the deep bow for yourself. You released stuff. You created space. Right. And as new stuff comes forward, now we can do this. Sometimes I have to do it on a regular basis. I'm not going to lie. It's not just a one shake off process, but I just want to acknowledge all of you. This is not small work, right? It's the foundation work, right, of everything that comes next in this transition, in this next season. And it's really, you know, it's the threshold between who we've been in 2025 and who we're becoming for 2026. So thank you for trusting the process. Thank you for giving yourself permission to pause. I want you to remember that this is not a luxury. It is a necessity. We hear that all the time about self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity, but this is even a step deeper doing this work. And you don't have to do it alone. That's what these summits are for. That's what all these beautiful presenters are here to be of service on the earth to others, to help process and move through all of this. And if this resonated with you, if you enjoyed my sacred horse medicine, I do have another contemplative presence and grounding audio. It's called Coming Home to Yourself. I'd like to gift it to anybody here and who's on the replays, watching the replays. You can grab it at beacons.ai/conscious hoofbeat. I don't know if somebody can put it in chat, but it's beacons, beacons.ai/conscious hoofbeat. It should be at the top of the page. You just have to do a little checkout. It's free. It's my gift to you for sharing this space, and I would love to share more sacred horse medicine with you. That's all I have for you today. I just want to wish you this for this Yuletide season, to give yourself permission to pause. You know, trust this composting process that's happening beneath the surface, even though we can't always see it. And remember that you're exactly where you need to be. And embody the wisdom of the horse, whether you have ever been around horses or not. They're amazing beings, and they have a lot to teach us about the seasons of change. And just want to encourage you to continue to be present, grounded, authentic. And I feel what the horse teaches us more than anything is freedom.
Thank you, Dr. Pamela. Thank you, Dr. Pamela. I feel that this was just such a perfect talk to have, especially because we are going into the year of the horse. And Lady Anika's talk was about shedding the old identity. And here you are talking about allowing that moment of pause in between the old and the new, which just also happens to be the year of the horse. And I love that you talked about the pause, or the power of doing no thing. And I love the balance of the masculine energy in the room today. Yes, because especially for the masculine energy heals when they rest more than the feminine energy does. The masculine energy can recalibrate when they are given permission, when they are reminded, sometimes encouraged, pushed even to sit the fuck down and just not do. Almost every single man I have ever met is usually like mind blown when I literally say, please, I got this, because men don't hear enough that it's okay for them to also pause and rest.
Yeah, like it's as a woman, I only know what it's like to live as a woman, and I know, like I said, to see how my mother and my grandmother were, and they were always, cooking and cleaning and waiting on the men and serving the meals. And like, I was just taught, like, you're not allowed to sit still. And my mom, to this day, she's 78 and she can't sit with herself unless she's watching television. She can't sit and do nothing. And, so I love that you're bringing forward the part about the masculine piece of it, because I didn't prepare that for this, because I work with mostly women, but I'm not opposed. Horse medicine's for everybody. And thank you for aligning that.
Yeah. Horse medicine is for everybody, and yet horse medicine is very masculine energy. And the irony doesn't escape me that this very powerful masculine energy teaches us the importance of being present, of doing no thing, right? And just the way that nature loves to continue to surprise us in the different places that we find medicine.
So it comes to me to share something right now in the herd dynamic of the horse. There's always one horse who's called the sentinel, and he isn't always necessarily the lead. He's not the head of the herd, but he's the one that stands and keeps watch. And I have the horse in the photo with me that Soraya used for the promo. That's my sentinel. And he will stand at night. It's so beautiful to watch him. And he'll have one leg cocked. He's not totally, on high alert, but he stands out back on a little mound in his pen and looks out into the open area, out into the fields and the pastures, and you can hear the coyotes howling, and sometimes you hear an owl, and he just stands there and he's present for that whole herd and holding the space. And it's so beautiful. And it doesn't matter if it's a mare, doing it, female, or the male gelding do it. And it's not always the stallions in the herd. Not that I have any stallions in my herd, but in the wild, like, it's not always, it's this one off to the side, just doing his job and doing his thing and doing what he's called to do. And he's called to be present. And it's so beautiful, right? That we don't think of that. Like, I finally realized, thanks to my horse medicine, that I was called in this family to be the present one, to hold this space. And I didn't learn it from my mother or my grandmother. I learned it from the horses.
All right, Sentinels in the house, raise your hand. Oh, thank you for that. I had no idea. That is something new I learned today, so thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to add that I really love that you said, trust that the stillness isn't wasted time.
Did I say that?
You did. You said that. And not performing on demand or having the pressure to perform. I feel like that's such a huge part of our society. And the more we hold on to that pressure, the more we're blocking ourselves from that growth and allowing ourselves to experience presence, and not just presence in this now moment, but presence in our body and presence in the experiences that we're truly shifting from. And I really appreciate that you said that, because you know what, we're our biggest critic. And that's such a huge statement of trust that the stillness isn't wasted time.
Mm-hmm.
The magic happens in the moment. And I love that you brought that forward in a beautiful way, because it's absolutely phenomenal.
12 on my clock as you say that. Jessica, you had raised your hand earlier. We would love to hear from you, please.
Actually, Mother Ann had a question. Please.
Hello.
Welcome.
I was when Pamela was speaking about taking time to pause. I'm somebody who used to use drugs and alcohol to cope quite a bit with being overwhelmed with the things that I needed to pause from. And I think I formed habits over time that bypass the cues and warning signs of not pausing. And just listening to this has really been awesome, because it's kind of been part of my journey to, and Jessica's too, to learn how to pause in other situations too. But like, I have a feeling like I've made habits of cruising past some of the early cues that I should be taking to maybe take time and just maybe looking for some insight on you guys' take on what to look out for on the journey.
Cues to look out for.
Yeah.
Can you share your name again, brother? What's your name?
Ben.
Ben. Awesome.
You know, I feel like everything starts with awareness, right? Like having the awareness of even what is the trigger. Like I can relate. Like I used to smoke, right? And I don't smoke anymore, but when I get triggered, I'll eat too much cheese, because cheese triggers that part of the brain, the same part of the brain that like crack cocaine triggers, okay? And so, but I'm aware of it now, right? Super aware, and having the space to have that self-forgiveness and still have the self-love. Like we're still human. We're living in crazy times. You know, keeping our head above water is harder than ever. And then you tack on the fact that we have this history or this past, and it never goes away. You know, like they say, an alcoholic is always an alcoholic. You just don't drink anymore, right? I've known smokers that, like, I have a friend whose dad was like in his 80s and he hadn't smoked for decades, and he still had dreams of smoking, and he still liked the smell, even though we know it's bad for us. So it's like having the awareness is the first step, I think, in a lot of things in, you know, personal development, inner work, is having that awareness, and then having the tools. Like when you go to that place, to have the tools, the exercises, to a breath work, the journaling, the, you know, whatever that is for you. Everybody's on their own individual journey. And I think that's why it's important to be exposed to all these different people and all their different medicines, and to figure out what works for you and not beat yourself up. And I might have got strayed a little bit from your question, but does that help you? That's what came forward for me.
Yeah, I think that the awareness factor does help. You know, I think I'm there, and just kind of keeping it on the forefront of my mind, you know, to stay aware. You know, I've let it slip my mind for a lot of time already, but if I keep it there, I will, you know, if I keep awareness of needing to take breaks and pauses and to time to recharge and reset, that I think my intuition will take it from there, you know.
But also maybe you just need to put it on your calendar and schedule it.
Okay.
You know, like I have the good old fashioned written calendar. Some people like the what do you call it? The notifications in your phone. I don't always check those and see them, but whatever works for you, and be like, I'm going to do this. Maybe you start off just doing it once a week or twice a week, or I'm going to do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And these are the times that I know I can commit. And you just do it. And maybe it's only for 5 minutes. Right? It's no different. It's a practice. It's no different than starting a meditation practice, a yoga practice. Let's say you wanted to run a marathon. You start out by down here, and you make these little changes. You don't just sign up and run a marathon next weekend, right? Like, so if I were you, from hearing what you said, I would start scheduling it on my calendar. And then slowly increase your practice from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, from twice a week to 3 times a week. Because here's what happens is I see a lot of people are like, I'm going to do this for an hour a day, every day. And then they don't do it. And then they fall back into their old stuff and beat themselves up. And allow yourself, I'm like, okay, I know I had a bad day, and tonight I'm going to have 1 too many glasses of wine, and I'm fully aware of it. And that's okay, because tomorrow's a new day, and I have tools in my toolbox. I'm not going to stay stuck here.
And do it unconditionally. I would say do it unconditionally, and give yourself permission to do it without the guilt of, I should be doing this, right? And to understand fully that doing nothing is doing something. That's that's been the biggest revelation for me in 2025 is giving myself permission, going back to what you said, the masculine, and really just like shedding all the fucking programs that have been instilled in, and really taking the time to explore that, right? And it's uncomfortable, but it's the most loving thing, unconditionally loving thing you can do for yourself, is to be fully fucking present no matter what you're doing. And that's making love to that moment, making love to that thing, whatever it is, and so I would just say do it unconditionally. That changed me this year. And it helped me to understand where those programs came from. Like, who am I doing this for? Right? Like, who the fuck told me I was naked, right? The tree of knowledge and good and evil, right? Who the fuck told me that? And then I ate the fruit by believing that, right? And so that's helped me a bunch, just being unconditional with it, and giving myself permission to fuck up or to have a bad day, and know that I learned something from that, and to keep moving forward with that. And that's changed my whole fucking world.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about strengthening the muscle of awareness, right? And that's where the daily work comes in. That's where you show up. That's where you're like, I have an appointment with peace. And if I don't keep my appointment with peace, then the consequence, I know Lady Anika used the word consequence earlier, not a fan of the word, but I use the word consequence, right? It's not right or wrong. It's just the law of cause and effect. If I don't keep my appointment with peace, those 3 minutes, that can ripple into a shitstorm later that I could have avoided by just taking those 3 minutes. And especially on those days where you are challenged, that's when it's even more important. Especially on those days where you are busy, where you do have all the things. That's when it's important to even take even more time, to spend an extra minute in the shower. To really just come back into the body, because addiction is a cause of avoidance. Addiction comes when we avoid our personal responsibility, our ownership, our power. So when you want to reach for the vice, right, whether it's doom scrolling or a cigarette or alcohol or narcotics, then ask yourself, what am I actually avoiding by feeding this addiction? For example, I was heavily addicted to narcotics and went to NA for a few years. And now when I find myself emotionally charged, I'll roll a joint and I'll sit there and I'll hold it. And I'll sit with that discomfort of my quick fix is right here in my hot little hands, but I'm not going to smoke this until I am participating with the experience rather than disassociating from my experience.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's,
Yeah, I love that you said consequence. So like I kept hearing the word choice. My dad used to always say to me, we all have choices and we suffer the consequences, good and bad. Consequences aren't always bad, right? Like but it's a choice. Like I chose to eat the cheese and I know I'm going to feel icky later, but in the moment I felt better and I needed that right now. And I'm super conscious and aware of it. I think the issue comes is when we don't have the awareness and we're just going through life all the time numb. But sometimes, yes, we need to just unplug, and sometimes you need to scroll, and sometimes you need to just, watch a stupid movie. Sometimes we need that, just not all the time. And also sometimes it's just as much when we're busy as just 30 seconds. When you put your hand on your heart, your brain is connecting and acknowledging. And that's where that heart-brain coherence comes from. And just taking 30 seconds to check in with yourself and do a couple breaths is better than nothing. And sometimes it's all you need.
Yeah. One breath, in NA, in AA, in recovery, they often say one day at a time. But sometimes one day is too much. So the invitation is one breath at a time. One breath, hand on heart, one breath. One breath is all we got. And that will build, right? That will build one breath, right? If you need to write that on a sticky note, if you need to tattoo a breath, or just write it on pen on your wrist for a week, right? Okay, one breath. Something that I also encourage my clients, especially if they've lived a lifetime of fracture and disassociation because of trauma, is wear something like a bracelet or a ring, something that you can physically just like, okay, it's right here. This is my physical reminder, because I literally need that physical reminder to remind me of that one breath. And then boom, you are able to shift out of eventually the loop, the hamster loop, and then you become the cycle breaker.
We also know the power in gratitude. And one of the practices that I teach, we all know, like, oh, we need to do the gratitude journal, all that stuff. But sometimes it's just about saying thank you. Thank you for right now. And sometimes I have to do it for every step I take. Thank you for now, and now, and now. Thank you for now. I'm okay right now, and now. And I might have to do that for 10 minutes before I can, self-regulate. But thank you for now. Right now, in this exact moment, I'm okay. I have a little prayer that I say, thank you that right now at this exact moment in time, everything is perfectly fine. Right? It might not be fine in 5 minutes, but right now it's fine. And now, and just that breath and that moment and being in the now and being grateful for it.
Yeah.
Because that's bringing in the awareness, and that will allow you to make the choice.
Yeah. And that helps to normalize the pathway of ease, right? Because ultimately what we are doing is we are recalibrating our entire nervous system to be okay with not being okay. And being okay with feeling the spectrum of what is arising. That is the path of ease, right? That is what we mean when we talk about thriving. We think of the word thriving, we're like, oh, we have X amount of money in the bank, we are doing this, and that can be a part of thriving, but thriving begins in the nervous system, in being at peace with what is happening right now. And that includes noticing the shame, the guilt, the disassociation, the discomfort with doing nothing when everybody is moving around you. Hello, men. I notice this more with you than I do women. Okay. Like being okay with your experience, because your standards are your sovereignty.
One thing that helped me, I completely eliminated the words good and bad from my vocabulary because to me it's not good. The consequences are not good or bad to me. They're comfortable, uncomfortable, and they're all valuable. And so, and like that's helped me immensely with being at peace, like in every moment. And what I'm doing, if I want to smoke a cigarette one day, I have complete peace with it. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is, like just eliminating that has helped me immensely. And also not feeling obligated to respond to a text message or feeling obligated to have a conversation with somebody if I'm not able to be present for it. Like show up for myself first. And if they don't value that, it's a huge red flag in that connection, right? Like if they're needy and entitled to your time and space, that's to me is trespassing, right? On my kingdom, my energetic kingdom. And so that's helped me a bunch, is just not feeling guilty for not responding to a message or feeling like but to preface it and communicate it authentically. Hey, I can't show up for you right now. Like I can't be fully present with you, but I'll circle back with you, man. And that's just helped me be more present and unconditionally loving and showing up for myself for the first time in 40 fucking years.
Deep bow. Deep bow. I've recently gone through something similar, and I've lost friends because they got mad that I didn't text them back when they felt I should text them back. And I'm like, you have no idea what's going on in my world. And it reminds me, and I want to encourage Jessica and Ben that maybe you can do this check-in with each other, but something that's been very strong in my meditations lately, and I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember the guy's name, but he is a big mental health advocate now as a result of all this. But he was one of the people, there's been, I don't know, hundreds of people that have jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and just a handful of them that survived. And he had jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and he survived. And it was only because like a seal or something pushed him back up to the surface. And I remember years ago listening to an interview with him. And I just thought this was so profound, and I hadn't thought of it for years, and it's been coming forward for me. And I think it's because it's just so, we need this now more than ever. He said he remembers riding the bus to the bridge, and he says, I know I didn't look right? I was planning to kill myself. I was not okay, right? And people were giving him strange looks on the bus. And he said, but I remember thinking to myself, if one person, just one person would say, hey man, are you okay? He said, I wouldn't have jumped. And he said he remembered getting to the bridge and he was still contemplating. And he said people were looking at him funny because he wasn't okay, obviously. And he said, I just remember thinking if one person walked up to me and said, hey man, are you okay? He said, I wouldn't have jumped. And it's something I've been kind of doing a little experiment with. I get these people that friend me on Facebook and I don't know who they are, and I message them, hey, hi, nice to meet you, thanks for the friend request, and try to connect with them. And 99.9% of them never respond, right? We don't know how to check in with each other, or people, if they do respond, it makes them uncomfortable. I can tell they're uncomfortable that I'm actually being nice to them. And so my new thing, and I did this with lady Annika the last time we chatted, I said, how are you? I looked her in the eyes. I said, how are you? Are you okay? Because sometimes that makes the biggest difference. So if you guys have each other, I encourage you each day to just take each other by the hand or touch each other on the arm and say, I'm checking in. Are you okay? Right now. You might not be okay in 5 minutes, or you weren't okay 10 minutes ago, but check in once a day.
Also inviting Kayla and Cody to this check-in as well. She's been so quiet over there, but I feel you both.
I have obnoxious puppy full of energy, and she keeps hitting me with her tug rope and going in front of the camera. So I've just shut the camera off for the moment.
But how does that feel to all of you to check in? And if you don't have somebody to check in with you, can you check in with yourself? How are you right now? Right now. Am I okay right now?
And to not let people bullshit you too. If if you can feel it and they just say, yeah, fine, you go through the motions. Like someone I truly care about, I'll say, okay, let's pause. I don't believe you,
Sometimes I like to break the tension in that moment, especially if it's someone I know and I look at them and say, are you really okay? Or are you trying to people please right now? Because it's not working. I can read through your bullshit. Sometimes we can just like break the tension a little bit. We're like, I smell some denial in the room. I smell some nonsense. Like, I don't know, is that coming from you? Because there's no one else around here, and that helps to like break it up a little bit. Like, oh, okay. You're here with me. You're not just asking the questions, because there's also that other side of our own internal worthiness, right? Of like, does this person even care? Or are they just going through their motions to ask if I'm okay? Right? So it's a two-way street of communication that happens here. It's both us acknowledging that we are in our human experience and that we are validating the human experience. And that is our divinity in action.
And most of the time people don't really give a shit. They say, how are you doing? Right. And so that's what people are used to. And that's why I like to stop and be like, no, seriously, I'm empathic. You can't bullshit me, man. Let's talk about it if you want. Right. But just know that, I'm here.
I have the same thing. A lot of my close people, I'm like, are you serious right now? No, you're not. I know you're not okay. So let's talk about this so you can be okay for a little while. Right, Soraya?
Mm-hmm.
It makes people uncomfortable. Like if they say, how are you? You say, I'm really not okay. It makes people uncomfortable. They don't know what to do with that. And that's why I know it's very important for us to practice this within our communities ourselves, of those of us who actually get it, because most people aren't doing the work. That's just the fact of the matter. Most people are walking through life like zombies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on that note, I'd like to add that it's really, really beautiful to be sitting in this room right now with beautiful souls who are supporting each other, who are doing the work. And I got tears in my eyes. This is what it's all about. It's absolutely beautiful, is being present for each other.
Yeah.
And this is a deep reminder that no matter where you are in your journey, it comes down to micro habits. And I made a post about that the other day. It's micro habits. Everybody in this room has experienced some sort of addiction, bypassing, some sort of heavy moment that changed our lives forever. And many of them probably. And we got to where we are, we get to where we're going by doing those micro habits every day. I saw myself, I was sitting on the couch the other day and I was like, I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm sitting in presence. I'm not doing anything. And I sat there and I bawled my eyes out, and I don't know why. And it's okay not to know why. It's okay not to know why, but I allowed myself to cry and reset my nervous system and be angry or be whatever it was that needed to come through. And that is showing up. That is doing the work, having those moments on the calendar of this is what I need right now, and showing up for each other. Absolutely beautiful.
Well, you do know why you were crying. Your nervous system was recalibrating. It's a normal bodily process. And again, you're like, I don't know why I was crying. Like, we have to have this shame around crying. But people cry tears too, happy tears, right? Tears and crying is a normal bodily process, like going to the bathroom. And we should be more comfortable in our tears. Again, with no judgment. It's not good or bad or right or wrong.
And something else to add in about the tears, right? It's water, right? And Lady Anika was talking about snakes and shedding, And every time we cry, we're releasing something, right? We're releasing joy or sadness or fear, right? When we're having happy tears, we are releasing the box of how much happiness we can hold and expanding that even more, right? So it's like when snakes shed their skin, if they're stressed out, the skin won't come out in a single piece, right? Sometimes they need a little moisture for that skin to come out, especially in that last bit. Like snakes, especially during the last bit of their shed, will sometimes need a little water to help that last bit come out. And so in the same way, our tears are that water that's helping that last bit of that shedding come out. So it's so important to allow those tears to come out, to allow that water to come out, to embrace the snotty, silly, sacred mass of being in the human experience, right? To be in love with the water that is pouring through you to assist you with the shedding, and you don't even have to ask for it. It's just there, ready to support you in that continual shedding that we're always in as we expand our growing edges, as we recalibrate our nervous systems, as we recode the DNA that we have inherited of certain traumas and stories and patterns, that just because you've inherited it doesn't mean it's your identity. Just because you've gone through an experience and it has defined who you are, or it has molded you, it doesn't define who you choose to be.
I love that. I love that. You're like, it's not always ours, right? It's the DNA, it's the generational stuff. But remember, we as empaths and highly sensitive, 80% of what we feel is not ours. 80%. And I sometimes forget, because I'll be like, sorry, I was just crying and I didn't know why. Because sometimes I'll get super emotional. I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, oh, I have to check in. Again, it's back to that check-in. Is this mine? What's going on? Is this even mine? And then I'm like, oh, it's not even mine. That's right. Okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with me. It's somebody else's crap.
I love that. So one thing that has helped me immensely is when it comes to all of this, I suffered as an empath from toxic positivity and not allowing myself not just sadness, but to experience and allow emotion in general, like of all sorts, the silly gooseness, the whatever it is. And what I've found is that by almost inviting now, I invite that emotion when it comes. I allow it, I sit with it, and like you said, just check with it. Like, what is this? Where does this come from? And it's not, again, not good or bad, right? But it's then allows me to see a past version of myself that didn't feel seen or heard or whatever, and it's been very healing for me to allow that and invite it, because I've always been so, I mean, when you're empathic, you feel the energy of the room, you feel the energy all around you, and so I just put myself in a position where I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can to be the peacemaker, to and so I wouldn't allow the people around me to have a bad day or a bad moment. Like, I was constantly like you have a choice right now to be happy, and you're not choosing that. And man, it crushed me, when I realized that was toxic for them and for me. So
yeah, Kayla just asked, it's hard to sit in the emotion. Is it mine? If so, why am I feeling this way? I had a beautiful, beautiful mentor come through, and her statement was, if you're feeling it, you picked it up. And that really helped stepped out of the victimhood of I am a victim to the outside world. We are energy masters. We feel things because we have the gifts to be able to transmute them. If we pick them up, it's our job to release them because we took on the responsibility of them. Yes, it might come from our ancestors. Yes, it might come from your neighbor. Yes, it might come from the landowner or the people at the grocery store. But we still chose to put ourselves in that energy. We can also choose to release it. So the bigger question is, what is it reflecting or triggering within you that you picked up the energy in the first place? That brings it back to that power of you're the sovereign being, and what is it trying to show me within me? Because if it's not anything that's triggering you, you don't have to pick it up. You don't have to process it. You don't, I'm choosing to let this go. It's not a bag that I'm choosing to hold. So a reminder that you are that sovereign alchemist. You are the sovereign creator. And you don't have to pick up everything in your environment. But if you choose to, what is it reflecting within you?
And that's where that awareness piece comes in. That's where strengthening the muscle of awareness comes in. And that's how we cultivate our own energetic sovereignty, because the more aware we are of our bodies, right? Masculine body or feminine body, different hormones, different cycles, different ways of engaging the world, right? Once we come into greater awareness of self, then it becomes easier to recognize the energies and notice, like, okay, I'm in a room full of people who are very sad, but I am in my joy because I am in my energetic sovereignty. And if I am triggered within this space, then yes, there's this deeper reflection coming in of what is really going on.
Yep, and having the tools to process, and it's all that comes from practice. It's all full circle, right? Having the practice, starting with 30 seconds at a time.
Yeah, the Japanese have this saying: if you want to master anything, practice for the same time for 60 seconds every single day. And it's actually how I started with my meditation practice at 7 a.m. for 3 years. It didn't matter if I was in the mountains. It didn't matter if I was working at the hospital. It didn't matter where I was. My alarm went off. I'm taking 5 minutes to just breathe out. And let me tell you, the looks that I got, the applause, it was very uncomfortable, especially when I was working in the medical field and I'm sitting there in the break room with my veil meditating at 7 a.m., right? Again, this is my appointment with peace. This is my appointment with my sovereignty. This is my me time. And my self-care is non-negotiable, because if my cup is not okay, I cannot pour into my wife, my husband, my children, my job, my career, whatever, right? We have been programmed to pour from ourselves, but sovereignty is about pouring from our overflow, not from our cup. You have your own cup, your husband, your partner has their cup, right? And we pour from the main vessel into our cup, because if we start pouring from each other's cups, then you'll end up empty.
Thank you, beautiful soul. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pamela, for joining us today. Where are some of the works that you have out in the collective, and how can they find you? What are the things that you're working on now, and how can they find you?
The thing that I am most excited about is I'm moving my stuff to Substack. Facebook has sucked the life out of me. And do you have the link for that you can?
I posted a link, yes, ma'am, and it is Beacons AI Conscious Hoofbeat.
That's my freebie if you guys want another contemplative audio. Yeah. And then if you want to,
we're giving a gift away. Oh,
yes.
Maybe that's the gift we give today. That's the gift we're going to give away today.
And then I have sageseasonsecrets.substack.com. Want to get in on some of my writings and go deeper into the seasons.
Awesome. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. Thank you so much, Dr. Pamela, for being here. Now we should give away this gift. Who's going to receive the lucky gift today? I feel like I should pull it out of a hat. What do you think? Beautiful.
You need a drum roll?
Do we want to include,
drum roll, please?
Yes, drum roll. Do we want to include the other beautiful people who were here who left early? Bethany and Timber. And I think that was it, right? Oh, and Mary Ann. She was also here earlier.
Okay.
We've got Kayla, Cody, Jessica, Ben.
Okay.
I'm
Hi,
gonna give you the diehard, but we're over time, aren't we?
What's the diehard?
The diehards who are still here with us.
Oh. Okay, I'm just gonna
This is
drop
devotion,
this,
y'all.
guys.
This is what devotion looks like. We don't look at time. We feel the presence and we flow with it.
Right.
Mm. Okay, the first one is beautiful Tan Hawk. I know that's not your name, Ryan, but that's what it says on the thing. So that's where it landed on the thing. You are the winner of this beautiful is it Substack? Dr. Pamela?
Everybody is a winner today.
Everybody's a winner of that today.
Everybody can have my 15-minute audio.
I love that. Yes. I love that. And a VIP ticket to the after party on the 20th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time in a private group for the cool kids.
I've never been one of the cool kids. I thought it was for the weirdos.
You are right now.
Weird is the new cool.
Okay, gotcha.
Weird is the new cool.
No, just to be clear, everybody can go to that beacons.ai/conscious hoofbeat and sign up and get the I think it's called Coming Home to Yourself. It's a presence and grounding audio, and it brings in a little more of the horse medicine. So everybody's welcome to that.
Awesome.
But if we want to let Ryan feel special, he was the winner.
You is the winner.
The wiener.
All right, beautiful souls. Thank you for being present with us today. We have had an amazing day with two amazing speakers and have walked through so many of our own practices and shadows and shared the alchemy tools that we use in our own practice to be the people we've come here to be. It's been a beautiful honor. Tomorrow we have two more beautiful speakers, and then we have Kathy and we have Sharon. They're going to come share their medicine tomorrow. We start again at 11 and another speaker at 12:15. And we're going to carry on this goodness up until the Thursday. And we have Shadow Alchemy that day. And we're going to have our closing ceremony. So all of the energy that we've been sharing and manifesting and composting and co-creating, we're going to put all of that into that closing ceremony on Thursday. All are welcome and encouraged to attend. It literally changes our world. And I have seen it happen firsthand through these. This is the 5th summit we've done. So I'm honored and grateful to be here. And yeah, did I cover everything? The register
you've
link,
covered
there's
everything,
great
Lady
deals.
Anika. Yes,
Awesome.
yes. I would love for us to close by inviting everyone here to share what is one moment of rest or joy that you will be taking for yourself later today. How are you carving a moment for joy or rest for yourself today?
I'm going to dance with the Christmas lights. That's what I'm going to do. I'm like, somebody's got to chime in. I'll chime in. Dancing with the Christmas lights, really honoring this Yule celebration, not getting too far into my own darkness and allowing the light to be the joy of the season. I'm excited. Who's next? Jessica, what about you? You're next on my screen.
I got two. My
Awesome.
joy today time is being here with you all and being here with him and sharing this.
Beautiful. Kayla,
Oh, yes, we want to hear from Ben too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ben too. Yes.
It's, I guess, accepting right now that I'm okay to not be okay.
Powerful. Beautiful. Thank you.
What about you, Cody?
I don't know. I ain't talked far yet.
You're on the spot. You have 5 seconds to decide.
This is your
I'm-
5 seconds of fame. I'm just kidding.
I showed up. I
Yes.
heard somewhere on one of my
Yes.
success videos. It said that the person that shows up consistently is the one that gets ahead.
Yes.
Can we just all honor for a moment the power of that statement right now? I showed up.
Dude.
That is
Dude.
we don't honor enough that we show up, right? I woke up today. I woke up today and I showed up.
Mm.
Wow. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you, Cody.
Yes.
He has his now.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Ben.
I guess I was going to share some of my moments of pause. I've had a good one already this morning. I've been finding a lot of openness and moments of clarity and moments of non-distraction and just connection in my mornings right when I wake up. I'm staying in a homeless shelter right now, and it's a very chaotic place, and it's also a place where people don't like mornings and are usually asleep. And I just really been finding the beauty in the calm, quiet mornings there because I wake up nice and early, and I've been noticing just a lot more spiritual gifts just coming without even asking for them in those mornings. And I plan to keep on finding the peace and beauty in that. And joy right here, right here.
Thank you, Ben. What about you, Dr. Pamela?
I'm going to go out. It's actually above freezing right now because we just had severe sub-zero weather, which we normally don't even get till January. And I'm going to go out and get me some horse medicine and be present with my horses.
Mm. I love that.
And probably clean a little horse poop, which is very meditative for me.
Hey, you know, I grew up in India. I played with cow dung often, so it's all good.
Oh, I don't play with it. I have a fork.
It's fertilizer. It's fertilizer.
It is fertilizer. Yeah, it is fertilizer.
It's really about just being outside with nature and enjoying the sunshine and the winds not blowing 50 miles an hour because it will be tomorrow, and to get grounded. Like the other night, my brother had scraped some of the snow away, and we had a day where it kind of melted some areas. And I found this patch of tall, dry, brown grass, and I'm like all bundled up, and I'm like laying on this grass on the frozen ground. I'm like, oh, bare ground. Oh, it just felt so good just to connect with the earth. I hadn't seen it in, so long. It's just been snow, right? And frozen mud, and just being outside. But it's not technically winter yet, right?
It is. Yes. What about you, beautiful Val?
Today is the first day I have the entire house to myself. There's no one here except me. So my joy and rest today is just really just being in my own energy field and just allowing myself to receive my home. I haven't been alone in my home since I moved in. So today my moment of rest and joy is to just enjoy being home. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you, Mr. Hawk?
I don't know, man. There's all kinds of fun stuff here at the castle that I'm gonna be getting into. I'm probably gonna take a nice Epsom salt bath. They have been such a beautiful, delicious treat for me, and when I do, I'm able to just be, and like you said, Ben, just being in the water, and the calmness, a lot comes through in those moments. And I just want to say, Ben, thank you so much, man, for showing up, brother. You're a fucking beautiful song, and your instrument made this whole symphony just so beautiful. And I just want to share that, man. Thank you for showing up. Your presence alone is a gift. Like, you are the gift. And I see you, brother. You're fucking cool.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Calling in warm, happy, healthy, beautiful homes.
Yes. Yes. Ah, thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Yes, I will be joining you in the bath, in my own bath.
Come on over.
All right, beautiful souls. Thank you very much for coming today, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 2.
Yes,
you.
thank you, Tila and Cody. Look at that. Look at all these beautiful men in the room.
Beautiful souls.
Who's that?
Oh,
What's your name, brother? What's your name?
Cody.
Cody. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Sacred Sovereigns, for being here. And we look forward to continuing to share presence and grow in love together.